Welcome to Heartfelt Life Diaries. Today we share the story of a man who gave everything until he had nothing left. In the bustling town of Oakwood lived Daniel, a soul so generous that the word no did not exist in his vocabulary. From the moment the sun rose until it set, Daniel was the person everyone called whenever they faced a problem or inconvenience. He believed that kindness was his duty, carrying the burdens of others as if they were his very own heavy responsibilities. His phone buzzed constantly with requests, and like a reflex, he answered every single call with a cheerful and immediate yes. However, while he built up the lives of everyone around him, his own sanctuary was slowly crumbling into a state of disrepair. He would return home long after dark, too exhausted to wash the dishes or tend to the leaks in his own roof. The chaos inside his home mirrored the chaos in his spirit, cluttered with the demands of others while his needs were ignored. He looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, a man who was running on empty fumes with no fuel left inside. Yet, when the morning came and the phone rang again, he put on his mask of helpfulness and rushed out the door. He spent hours fixing a neighbor's roof under the scorching sun, ignoring the dizziness that warned him to stop and rest. People had become so accustomed to his help that their gratitude became shallow, expecting his service as if it were mandatory. He walked past his own garden, seeing the roses he once loved now withered and dead, victims of his constant absence. A friend stopped him to ask for help moving furniture all weekend, and Daniel agreed instantly, despite having his own urgent chores. A deep sense of resentment began to build within him, a silent whisper asking why no one ever offered to help him. The weather turned as dark as his mood, with heavy storm clouds gathering on the horizon, promising a night of destruction. As the winds picked up speed, the town prepared for the worst, shuttering windows and bringing outdoor furniture inside for safety. Just as Daniel was about to secure his own loose fence, his phone lit up with a desperate plea from a neighbor. Without a second thought, he ran into the storm to help others, leaving his own property vulnerable to the raging elements. He spent the entire night battling the wind to save his friends' belongings, ensuring their homes remained safe and dry. When the sun finally broke through the gray clouds the next morning, Daniel walked home, his body aching from the night's labor. He stopped dead in his tracks as he saw his own home, the fence shattered, and his beloved garden reduced to mud. The realization hit him harder than the storm winds. He had saved everyone else while letting his own world fall apart. He knelt in the wet soil, holding the broken shards of his life, understanding finally that his strategy was completely failing. A neighbor drove by and waved cheerfully, completely unaware that the man who saved them was now suffering in silence. Daniel sat on his porch steps, feeling a deep hollowness inside, realizing that his unlimited kindness was actually self-destruction. Mr. Harris, a retired teacher known for his wisdom, paused at the gate and observed the scene with a knowing look. He walked up the path and placed a gentle hand on Daniel's shoulder, offering a silent presence of comfort and understanding. They sat together in the morning light, and Mr. Harris poured a cup of warm tea, waiting for Daniel to speak first. Daniel pointed to the wreckage and confessed that he had nothing left to give, feeling used and empty inside. Mr. Harris looked him in the eye and said, "Kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. You cannot pour from an empty cup." He explained that by saying yes to everyone else, Daniel was constantly saying no to his own health, home, and peace. The old teacher proposed a challenge. For the next 7 days, Daniel must decline any request that hurts his own well-being. Daniel looked at his rough hands and felt fear, wondering if people would still like him if he stopped being useful. Mr. Harris left him with a final thought. Those who only like you for your utility were never truly your friends. Sitting alone in the silence, Daniel made a vow to reclaim his life, starting right now with this very moment. The first test came quickly when a neighbor asked him to watch her dog, and Daniel politely but firmly declined the request. Instead of watching the dog, he spent that afternoon clearing the debris from his yard, feeling a strange sense of guilt. On the second day, he ignored a non-urgent call to focus on repairing his broken fence, prioritizing his own security first. Whispers began to circulate around town that Daniel was changing, that he was becoming selfish or difficult to deal with. The old Daniel would have caved in to stop the whispers, but the new Daniel breathed through the discomfort and continued working. He directed a young man to the local mechanic instead of fixing the car himself, supporting a local business instead. That evening, for the first time in years, he cooked a nutritious meal for himself and ate it in peaceful silence. By the fourth day, fresh flowers were planted in his garden, symbolizing the new life he was breathing into his own world. A true friend saw him working and came over, not to ask for a favor, but to help him paint his house. Daniel realized that saying no had pushed away the leeches, but brought the people who truly cared closer to him. His home began to shine again, transforming from a symbol of neglect into a beacon of self-respect and personal pride. He found time to read, to rest, and to simply be, discovering that he had value even when he wasn't serving others. When an angry neighbor demanded his time, Daniel calmly explained that he needed to rest, refusing to apologize for self-care. To his surprise, the neighbor didn't attack him, but nodded with respect, accepting the boundary that Daniel had clearly set. He learned a powerful lesson. The world treats you exactly how you treat yourself. Respect must be claimed, not given. On the seventh day, Daniel stood before his fully restored home, a physical representation of his healed internal state. Mr. Harris returned, smiling as he saw the transformation, not just in the building, but in the man standing before it. Daniel invited his mentor into the garden, which was now blooming with life, to share a cup of tea in peace. They laughed and talked, enjoying the fruits of balance, proving that you can be kind without sacrificing your own soul. Daniel was still a kind man, but now his kindness was a choice, not a compulsion driven by fear or guilt. He had moved from being a slave to everyone's whims to becoming the master of his own destiny and time. He still helped others, but he did it from a place of abundance, giving only when he truly had energy to spare. He learned that saying yes to himself was the prerequisite for being able to genuinely say yes to anyone else. His circle became smaller but stronger, filled with people who valued his presence more than his utility or his labor. The town of Oakwood continued to turn, but Daniel was no longer the cog that kept everyone else's machine running smoothly. The lesson is clear. True generosity is sustainable only when you maintain the boundaries that protect your own well-being. You must fill your own cup first, so that you can give to the world from your overflow, not your emptiness. Don't let the fear of disappointing others stop you from appointing yourself as the guardian of your own peace and happiness. Your energy is a limited resource. Spend it wisely on things that grow, rather than wasting it on endless demands. Like Daniel, you have the power to change the narrative, to teach people how to treat you, by respecting yourself. Find the courage to say no when necessary, and you will find the freedom to live a life that is truly yours. As the sun sets on our story, remember that a closed gate is not an insult, but a protection of the home. Take a moment today to examine your own boundaries. Are you giving from a place of love or a place of obligation? Reclaiming your time is the highest form of self-respect. It tells the world that you value the life you have been given. Let Daniel's story be a reminder that you are allowed to rest, you are allowed to say no, and you matter. From a man who lost himself to a man who found his strength, the journey of boundaries is a journey home. Thank you for joining us on this journey of transformation. We hope this story inspires you to protect your own peace. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe to Heartfelt Life Diaries for more stories of human growth. Until next time, remember to be kind to the world, but always remember to be kind to yourself first. Goodbye.